Thank you.
Great. Okay. Hi, welcome. Yeah, when you're a member of OWASP, you get an OWASP email and you get access to the Slack and everything. And so I reached directly out to the creators of this project, got feedback on my slides. But also I'm not an expert in this. I think that's where the community part comes in, and that I really wanted to like hone in by doing this talk, is bringing in all of our minds. There have been 2 other people I've gotten advice from on this talk, and they say one of the hardest part of threat modeling is like the teamwork. So I think that'll be a fun social experience today. I'll do my talk. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes, maybe less. And then we'll go into Threat Dragon and see what kind of ideas we can come up with. So onwards we go. So I'm Ayliffe. I'm currently employed as a solutions engineer at Darktrace. We are a defensive AI, self-learning AI, machine learning, defensive like network company. I can go deeper into it or give demos on all that should you be interested. But yeah, I'm also started my career building wearable technology and had always been curious about protecting people with technology, and then therefore creating technology securely or privately, and considering all the goods and bads that can happen, which has led me to where I am today. As I mentioned before we started recording, Victoria and I host this Atlanta Women's Coffee Meetup the first Saturday of the month. We jump around town. I think we planned the next one at the Chattahoochee Coffee on the West Midtown. Okay, onwards we go. It's kind of blurry, huh? I'll work on that. Chips are my favorite. So why threat model? You get to act like the bad guy. Duh. But yeah, your goal is to be thinking of how can you protect what you're building. So instead of always focused in the futures, take a break, think about it from another person's perspective. So this is an interesting conversation I had with the cybersecurity architecture. When I mentioned threat modeling to him, he was thinking purely of like triaging and building the story of like when a threat actor comes into your network, going from email through SaaS and moving laterally, that whole thing. So I thought that that was a cool aspect to bring into this, is that as we're building community and thinking of threat modeling through different perspectives, that other people might have a definition for it based off of their daily jobs. So with OWASP specifically, we are application security based. So Threat Dragon is based off of the whole DevSecOps lifecycle. They also have the privacy engineering frameworks. So, then there's plenty of talks I've been in where there's security researchers that are creating honeypots and honey nets and like digging deeper into the logs of how malicious actors are moving throughout the app or network. So I think that it's important to understand the differences, but also know that it's all part of the same organization or infrastructure, depending on what app you're doing, etc. Any questions or thoughts about that? Do you guys have a specific way you think of it? So let's make it fun. Let's make it proactive. Let's be future thinking and about what we're creating and how the technology is being incorporated. But I think the most important part is to do it small and to do it often. Every, month or however many times you meet, if you meet at all, with your development team, that you're having a conversation about security and kind of stepping out and being creative about the thought process. I found a lot of good GIFs for this. So yeah. Today I'm gonna use this example of making like a computer game and how the architecture of that can be used good or bad. So we have our users, we have our thing we did, we have our users, and that we're all here to compromise. All right. into Threat Dragon. So it's a free open source cross-platform application. You can do it on the browser, you can download it, etc. You can draw these diagrams, which I'll show you how to do. Yeah, identify threats, and it's accessible, which I love. All right, who's heard of these frameworks before? STRIDE stands for spoofing, tampering, remediation, information disclosure, denial of service. I kind of feel like I didn't need to go deep into this, but if you want to go deep into this, we can. What I think is important is that LinkedIn is privacy specific, where STRIDE is more, security, and then these two are very broad based. And then this new one, Plot AI, I had never actually heard of, but it's a part of Threat Dragon. Let's see if I can show you their website. I pulled it up. So it's all about, AI threat modeling. So from data and governance, privacy, biases, and fairness, which I think is the newest part with threat modeling AI and machine learning, is that fairness. Well, that's not totally true. So privacy engineering includes fairness, but I think it's brought more to the forefront with AI. Environment, same with environmental impacts, but the rest is pretty common. So this is a framework within Threat Dragon, which I'm going to show you when we dive into the AI. I just want to cover the basics right now. So let's get creative. Let's have some fun with this, thinking about who is the threat, why do we care to protect this part of our application, what do we want to protect, why, and kind of cycling through these questions. The creator of Threat Dragons uses these questions, which I also think are really good. What are we considering? What can go wrong? What do we do about things that go wrong? And how well did it turn out? So whichever form of questions seems best for you, we can go with. All right, so let's get into it. So there's several ways you can download Threat Dragon. Then, of course, we have our OWASP GitHub. Hold on, I have to move this thing. So we have our contributors. You can download the desktop version. What I did at first was I just went straight to the demo site. And you can do a local sign-in. Also, you can sign in with your GitHub and you can link it to the application you're developing, which I thought was kind of a cool UI. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. You can create an existing where if you have a JSON downloaded or something, you can create a new one where I'll just do like OWASP owner is me, the reviewers is the OWASP Atlanta crew. Going to create a test. Hi, welcome. We're diving into the Threat Dragon UI right now. So create a test diagram. So when you do add new diagram, you can choose out of those, let me see, out of those frameworks that I mentioned earlier. And that's used within the UI to help guide you on what threat types are available. So we can do, let's do LinkedIn. So you save it. And then it will save as a JSON on your device. Okay, so this part is where it's a little clunky. Then you have to close it, and then you're given the diagram aspect. So you click on that, it's a blank page, and you have over here your components that you can add, your boundaries. These are the properties, so you can dive into what parts of the diagram do what, and then you'll add your threats. So I have one already created, but I just want to show you a little bit about like working in the UI, and then we'll go to the one I've already created, and then we can threat model together. Sounds like a plan? Okay. Stop me. Anyone have any questions? I feel like I go pretty fast. It's been like 10 minutes. We're good. Anything on Zoom? Great. So process. Can this go up? Okay. Yeah. So name, description, it's in scope, privilege levels, hard payment, etc. So you can do your process. Yeah. Wait. Let's do it like this. Actor. And you put, so the actor could be a user account. This is for one person connected to their email and password, right? Something like that. So the process. So then you can take. Nope. This one. Like it might be because I'm doing it all. But okay, you take the data flow and you can connect it to the circles. And then vice versa. So, oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to connect it over here like but turn it around. I should have brought my other mouse. What I wanted to do is like, you know, you have your requests, your HTTP requests, and your acknowledgement. But let me go into my example because that one looks really pretty. So this is through, or let me show you how I got here. So we go back out to, you can do explore sample threat models. I chose the online game, but for example, you could do payment processing platform and dive in. They're using the Stride model and they have a mouse, not a trackpad, so it's easier to work with. But you could see how they got really in depth on that. Their actor was their customer, the data flow was customer logs into the merchant site, customer proceeds to payment page to make the purchase, and customer provides card details. This dotted line is your trust boundaries. And so this is like how in depth your diagrams can get should you need to dive deeper into what's really happening. I think it is really fun to make these, but considering this environment and time, I was like, let's just use what's already been created. So here is the Battle Royale threat model for online Battle Royale games provided by the OWASP Threat Model Cookbook. So you have your players, local machine, the players, your actor, they launch into the client from the browser, and then there's the anonymous user agent. That's all within one trusted boundary, which flows into your production network, which of course is where you would have your game lobby, your game servers, that all goes to your stats database, websites. Yeah, I don't have to read everything. And then over here, you have your corporate network, which is your customer support. So one of the ways, the things that are red, I've already put threats onto. And when I was talking to my friend Lennon about this, he says one of his ways to break it down is you start with kind of our main threat actors, which are APTs, advanced persistent threats, script kiddies, and then the last one is an insider threat. And then when I was writing this down, in case my whole computer broke and I had to do it with paper, it made me think of the game Clue. It's like, I think it was Script Kitty in the lobby doing spoofing. So that's what I did. I was like, let's make it fun. So yeah, in this, when there is a threat, you, I wish my screen was bigger, but whatever. It'll turn around and then you can have the threats here. So you can have more than one threat, of course. I'm keeping it very like layman's terms. maybe one of y'all want to get real technical with it, Thomas. So yeah, it was Script Kitty in the lobby with the weapon of spoofing. They stole creds from their number one, oh, I have a misspelled, rival. Sorry. Via Discord, and they did this through phishing through game chat. And a mitigation suggestion would be to have multi-factor authentication. What you guys think? Any more mitigations we might need?
We could prevent the credentials from being used as prompts in game chat.
Use as like game chat, you can't say the word password.
Yeah, or censor, where the game chat will censor the use of usernames or passwords. The same way it would censor the use of certain expletive words. Thinking out loud.
So you're not only protecting users, but you're, you know, making it more family friendly or something like that.
Can you add a speed bump saying you're about to leave the game?
That's a good one. So, what are they like? Like a pop-up speed bump?
Yeah. Are you sure you want to leave?
Well, because this was in the lobby, remember?
Oh.
The game loading. But I think a pop-up could still be true, like.
With password, so we made it passwordless. It's not someone to log in and have to deal with some situation.
What was the first part you said?
Oh, just make it passwordless.
Passwordless, okay.
Passwordless.
Less.
No password.
Oh, sorry.
Passwordless.
So think of like magic links,
Magic
things
link.
like that to log in.
It sends an email.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
yeah.
could have pop-up speed bumps for messaging new people. Seems like this person gets
Like you're not their friend or, okay.
and you haven't befriended this individual first, be cautioned of your messages. That way your rival doesn't hop on in the profile and get you creds.
Have any of you guys, well, spelling doesn't work. Okay, have any of you guys had your gaming credentials stolen? My brother told me that he got really into a game. It's one of those where the more you play, like the more points you get. And he was in school at the time, so he basically gave his creds to a 16-year-old. I think it was during the summer. The guy had nothing to do. He's like, I'll play the game for you. And then of course, the guy like changed his name, my brother's password, and I don't know. So it's kind of like, I feel like these are common examples, like you do it willingly and then you get locked out or all these things. And if your card is stored on there or something, yeah.
So I'm always going on about this, but you don't have security if you don't have physical security. So while I never directly had an account hacked or stolen in the game world, I have had a game console stolen. So matter of fact,
Those are expensive too.
I lost my save file.
Oh, no, not the save file. Love it. Okay, so that's the first one. We have many more to do. So the status is open until, you know, if this is something you meet every month with your team, you can leave the status open until you and devs or whoever have mitigated it. Put your severity. What do you guys think? To be determined, low, medium, high, or critical. I was gonna say like kind of medium, low, like you want people to have fun on your game because that's like how you get people to play it.
Is that you're saying that the threat
Yeah.
is going to be medium?
In terms of the severity.
Because it's just another player, it's not admin, it's not a game developer, it's just an unfortunate guy.
Okay, so we're medium, okay, we'll apply. All right, next. We
We have a
move,
question in the chat.
oh yeah.
How can we load this model on other instance?
So how you get here is when you go back to, oh well, they downloaded it. So if they downloaded it, that's how I have it as like my own app, and then you can, I think I can do like I say boom, right? But,
Oh, the small, you create the small ones?
no, this is from
Samples?
the samples. So this is from the web app, but if you go to, it looks the same when you download it, whether you're on the browser or you download it. You go to explore samples, and then you go to the online game option, and then you're in it. One other thing to mention since I'm here is I think you can copy it. How did I do this? You can like copy it and you can apply it to the plot AI framework or whatever if you like the other frameworks. Or if you're the privacy engineering team and you need to do it off of London, you can do something like that. Good. All right, next in our clue game is, I think, in the player database, it was an insider threat with the denial service. All right, let's see. Open it up. So yeah, an engineer can delete the database by mistake or on purpose and create a denial of service. A mitigation could be to back up the database, audit logins, and have deeper network monitoring in place. What do you guys think?
Something like just in time logging in to where they would have to specifically just log in, given an amount of time, so that they could do something that's that extreme.
I love that. Just in time logging in so they can't make an extreme mistake or something.
There can be offsite backups as well for the database.
Offsite backups. So they don't need I didn't hear you.
Privilege. Databases frequently.
Yeah.
But those aren't mitigations.
What do you think? These are
No,
like
they don't-
prevention.
They don't, they only get you back online faster.
If you change the permissions, then
If you change permissions, yeah, at least for,
privilege.
right, but the backups,
So it's somewhere, so I guess it's a good point. The mitigations are like, how do you prevent something from happening? Where there's the other side of like, how would you have incident response ready for?
or how do you prevent it from deleting
But
data?
wouldn't the backups prevent it from causing denial of service? Because if you delete on one database, then it just goes to the other.
That could work, depending on, how
So
they
you
have
like
it
redundancy.
set up with the redundancy, exactly.
I would still consider it a mitigation if you're reducing the impact that it has on something like availability. It's like you're mitigating that risk to some extent, even if you're not eliminating it.
Further mitigate risk. So I hear what you're saying. We could just add some network segmentation in here, make sure that anything that's done doesn't go live immediately. There can be a development segmentation in between anything that an engineer can do and what actually goes live on game. So even if he accidentally deletes everything, that happens in the development area that does not happen live with real information. So just setting up some gaps could help.
What if,
On like cloud versioning, so that it's not backing up what your current status is. You have a running file. But if you need to step back to any particular point in time, you could.
I love that. I'm gonna stop typing these up, but let's do, John, or anyone from Zoom.
yeah, I was wondering if we could do some kind of shared responsibilities around being able to delete the database. So no one would be able to delete a database unless they had someone else, like 2 turnkeys, to be able to delete a database.
I've heard of that before. What was that? Yes, how would you set that up?
Access controls?
Yeah.
Just like
depends.
technically, like.
One way I would do is like using like Terraform and things that require you to like do a PR and someone has to approve the PR to that change.
Protection, let it stay files.
I think you could do that with just-in-time logging.
Yep.
So where you request it and somebody else approves the request to make the change.
Another thing that I've thought sounds cool, but I've never actually seen in practice is at a certain scale, the person who has access to delete the database and the person who has access to the backups, like you have a couple different people for redundancy, but like the same people don't have both of those permissions.
Permission check.
Separation of privileges. What'd you say?
Privileges and permission check, like I am implementation.
Implementation. I love this. So
Also,
most of the interactions we not. Just kidding.
because I know I do some like inside of programs, user behavior analytics, so UBA, BA sort of things, so that you can like start to see the behavior of them before they even do that action. So
We're gonna make such a fun game. I can't wait, and everyone will be protected. Okay, the last one for me, and then I'm gonna pass it off to y'all. We'll choose an asset and we can play from there. But the last one is, I think it was an advanced persistent threat in customer support with elevation of privileges. We go in there. This is what I wrote. A third-party support gets compromised by an APT via phishing, which is a new, kind of the new craze these days. Mitigations, good network, operational and credential safeguards in place, which I guess we could be more specific with some of your examples that we just talked about. Need security assessment of vendors and pen testing processes. And then the last one says compliance certs or certifications. So that's kind of what I liked about this is we're diving deeper into third-party compliance as well as just like general GRC and policies in place. And then in terms of the people teamwork, maybe you're making it one harder because now instead of security and developers, you got to bring in the lawyers, you got to bring in the pen testers and stuff. That's what makes our day jobs fun. Any other ideas for mitigation? For APT?
So like SIM swapping, it's like the third party can use.
SIM swapping is a good thing or wait?
That's I feel like a kind of a more common third party phishing attack.
Oh, because it's phishing specifically. I like that you mentioned the phishing mitigation. Yeah.
Zero trust architecture, so that even if somebody gets fooled, they don't have, you know, kind of like we were talking about on the last example, do anything drastic without some kind of authentication that happens at that moment. So you can't get by with just phishing. You can't get by even if you're the real person.
Zoom equals.
When you're talking about compliance certs, are you talking about like user certificates or what are you
I'm
talking
thinking
about?
more like the general, like ISO, all the numbers, certification.
Oh, okay.
You know, like we have, or you know,
Because
we
if
have
you-
our GRC cert where customer support gets attacked, like everything in terms of privacy has been obfuscated or something like that.
'Cause I was thinking one mitigation could be the user certificate on the computer, so the third party wouldn't be able to get there because they don't have the user certificate. They may have the SMS or the MFA or whatever, but they wouldn't be in the internal. So
Mhm.
that'd be one of the mitigations.
User certificates. Okay, let's go into this. Do you guys want to stay in the production network? I think that's best, but up here we have the player's local machine. Where do you guys want to play for? Why don't we add one more? One more thread. API REST, game servers, stats database. Yeah, I love you. Smile. Anyone on Zoom?
Let's go for API.
Yes.
API REST, thank you, that's what I was thinking, okay. So we go down, we can say new threat by type. And then, can choose. So we're in the API, REST, which sort of stride. In my clue analogy, these are the weapons, you know, would our attack. Information disclosure. Wait. Okay. So open source, the UI is a little chunky, but it's free. So let's go for it, you know, and it's cute. All right. Who's the actor of this API REST information disclosure?
Criminal enterprise.
Criminal enterprise. And for those in the back, how is that different than APT? Financially motivated. All right. So what's the description? What do they do?
They got hold of an API token that was not,
An API token
rotated.
that was in use.
Found it. Yeah.
There you
I love the storytelling. Okay. And what happens? So they get the API token, they can access it and discreetly download all the information. So downloading.
In this game, is there, in-game money?
Yeah, let's make it the best game in the world. There has to be money in this game.
That's what the motivation is, right?
Info to get the game. Coins. I don't want to use token again.
V-Bucks.
V-Bucks.
Baby bucks or a, I don't know. Whatever. Okay. All right, what are we gonna do to mitigate this? They cannot take our A-Bucks money. Come on, y'all.
You create PR checks to make sure we're not pushing secrets to go.
PR checks to make sure we're what?
Did we say it was found in GitHub?
Yeah.
So we have to pass like security scans before PRs can be approved.
Pass security scans. Before theirs can be approved to get.
So are we creating after the fact mitigations for something that has happened? Or is this a hypothetical and we want to prevent that?
I think that's it. One of the great debates of tonight. But in this scenario for my side before, like you are doing these throughout the creation of this game. So I'm gonna stick to my once a month, you know, but it could be a game that's already been released and they haven't thought about their security by design.
So we're developing
To
right
do
now.
it, but yeah, I think for today we'll do. It's not live yet. We got the lawyers and everyone in here to make sure it's proper for publishing. Hi. So we're playing, just since you're new here, I'll just say apply, but we are playing with what's going on? Threat Dragon. You can get these visual diagrams of. Why is my thing being weird like that? So here's a game diagram, and right now we're working together to create a threat modeling for the API REST from a criminal enterprise using information disclosure, and they got hold of it from an API token that was left in GitHub.
I just wanted to say something on that last piece. Ideally, you would do like some of your this threat modeling as a part of the design process, so then you would consider security as early as the feasibility process.
Ideally.
Part of the process, because there's a point at which it's you may realize the security implications make it infeasible from a business standpoint, that it's not worth the risk. Of course, in practice, that's usually not how it works out, but yes, ideally you would do threat modeling in your design process. And as the design changes.
Kind of guide the acceptance criteria.
Mhm.
It's kind of an extreme measure mitigation. You could host your own internal Git repo without pushing to the public.
I love that. Was internal Git repo.
So get my something.
Zoom, we need an idea from you. They're quiet. We have a good amount of people in there, right?
Yeah, we got like 14 people.
14, oh my gosh, come on, somebody's gotta give me something from it. If we're done, we could also go to another part of the diagram.
Well, rotate the tokens.
Rotation.
We have a mandate, a rule that says tokens need to be rotated every 6 months.
Prevention is better than cure.
Another one I've seen is maybe they don't have a Docker ignore, and so if they're building container images locally, there might be files that they thought were ignored, and that contains sensitive information that ended up being included in the image. To other, employees or members of whatever organization, or if it went out public, we're able to access.
Do you guys like that? I feel like we have such good ideas because we're all security people, but is there a real life scenario where y'all gonna be fighting over the right mitigation? When I think of that, I think of, well, we don't have money to create a private GitLab, like how much does that cost? So just wanted to throw that out there. Wow.
Open source. Or like check off and stuff, it's free.
Yes, open source tools. It's like, okay. We want to try one more? It's not even 7 o'clock yet. I've been going pretty fast, huh? Which one?
Can we take a look at the
The players,
Yeah, the
local
players.
machine?
Yeah. Anonymous user agent.
Can we go with the game client?
I don't know what this is. Remember, I didn't make this, but yeah, let's do game plan.
Okay.
So new threat type. Why is it doing that?
Pros and cons of open source.
Oh, so that's a UI thing. You can press next and it will go through all the different stride. You see the type is changing?
Yeah.
I feel like that's too much. I would just click the down arrow. Okay, what is happening in the game client? Spoofing, tampering, repudiation. Tampering?
Bootleg game plans
Yeah.
that are really malware.
Are we gonna talk about cheating?
Is that what that would be? Cheating? The
That's what I'm thinking.
With tampering?
Not that I would ever, but I've heard people do this. I heard people use bots.
We have such a fun game. People want to cheat to get their A-bucks, like my brother did. We're okay with this scenario? The cheater is doing tampering. Okay, what happened? What did the cheater do? Zoom.
He modified the game. So he or she modified the game. To be able to like make a purchase. Like unlimited purchase without actually paying.
Yeah.
Like scoreboard hacking. Yeah, I agree with that. But this stuff wants scoreboard hacking.
They're getting good at this game with not putting much hours. So what would be a mitigation?
For AI can user behavior.
First and foremost, don't let people make purchases via, like, the client shouldn't be the thing that verifies purchases, but the API should.
I love that. Should not, what do you say, should validate?
Validate via the API, not through the client.
Any other mitigations?
What kind of game are we talking about? Because are we talking about a game where I imagine there's gonna be some kind of botting. It might be embotting, it might be I'm using a bot to go mine for me. Mine from room
This is
straight.
Minecraft.
Okay, Minecraft. I was thinking like you decided that they have to work to earn bucks. The bucks are important. What do the bucks buy you?
Are they gonna stop me from having a bot that just collects wood for me?
That would be cheating, huh?
But we're creating this game. Do we want our people to just make their own wood, our
I just
users?
want to know.
Or we,
But how will we prevent against that?
Would that be a new threat?
or I guess we could like make another tampering threat and have that be.
It might be low, because I think for some types of games, like a competitive first-person shooter, if aimbots are rampant, you'll actually lose your user base, like less people will play and you will actually lose money.
So here, we
Then
made
I don't
another
know if it
one.
matters
This is
much.
the cheater with the bot. Right?
So depending on like the type of game, it could be a more or less of an impact.
They have a bot that will endlessly
Okay, resources.
play for the user.
Sounds like kernel level anti-cheat for a mitigation.
Kernel level anti-cheat. That's what we need as a.
That is an appropriate response for this.
It's gotta be a rank of 0 or lower if we can get it.
They're on to us.
I shouldn't say kernel level.
Oh, that's work.
Yes,
The Zoom, you guys can still see
the
the
Zoom we
screen.
can see,
So it's.
the room is not.
Stream detected.
Oh, that's funny. As soon as the Zoom person gets a minute. All right, anybody got a joke?
I think it's happening on the
Part of the bot.
So.
This wasn't enough for us model.
Okay, what about, anyone have a story about a game they played? Where there was a cheater with a bot? Or.
I'll tell you one, when, it was a long time ago, depending on, when Bing used to, pay you to do searches.
Wow.
And then, so I created a bot. And I tried to run it but they caught me.
Are you gonna tell us what your bot was gonna do, or?
Oh, yeah, I would just create searches.
Oh, so
Random
you could get
searches.
paid.
So you could get paid,
searches,
right,
okay.
that was the one, but didn't work. They were smarter than I was.
They had thought that somebody like you was gonna be there.
Oh, yeah,
They did their threat modeling
yep.
with Threat Track. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had like 5 or 6 accounts that I would just think.
Yeah, 5, 6, and I would have words, right, to search, random
I
ones.
think they must have had something like a speed.
Oh, I put it on, retarded,
Okay.
you know.
How long did you last?
Huh? What's that?
did you last?
Not very long, maybe a couple weeks or something.
I mean,
But,
yeah.
but it was nothing, I didn't get anything, they took my money away. So I didn't get to keep it.
Is the room still on Zoom?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Sharing.
Okay, so I mean, I feel like we did everything I wanted to do. I'm curious, would you guys use Threat Dragon? How do you think this would be in real life? As I mentioned earlier, probably before the recording, I just chose it because I had to give a talk. And I thought it looked cute. And yeah, I wanted to, yeah, from what I've heard because I don't work directly with like DevSecOps teams, but from what I've heard, in theory, this all sounds great, but like in practice, it's really hard. So I was thinking like maybe getting a tool that's interactive like this and free would be a way to like get this to work together. Yes.
I just wanted to ask if anyone here has done threat modeling professionally at their work.
I know, but it's so high level, it's never like this. It's like a diagram of the same bit. It's just like.
And it needs to be done for compliance check box or something.
Yeah, I think it's because threat modeling is a part of the acceptance criteria, and so it's like whatever public cloud provider, and then it's something that's probably not.
We thought about it.
It's not down to the actual.
College project for like cloud security. So
Okay,
like for
in
the
college.
diagrams, yeah, like my master's degree, so that's the only thing I did with threat modeling.
Yeah. College is fun.
I've done threat modeling, I actually do it quite often at the job. And for me, threat modeling, especially if it's like a new service, a new internal, like, there's legacy services and there's like new services that are coming out, because it's a relatively new team that we started at my company. So it's like when I do a threat model, and my favorite threat models nowadays is SaaS services, because that's the thing everyone's leveraging. Most people don't build things anymore, they outsource it, meaning they'll leverage a SaaS service to do a lot of it. So for me, when I do a threat model, I'll be doing a threat model of that SaaS service itself to understand its functionalities. And you know, when you think about like threat modeling, you always think about like what are you responsible for? And like the layers of those responsibilities. So when it comes to like infrastructure as a service, you know, you're not responsible for the underlying server. You are responsible for identity and all sort of stuff, but the underlying server you are not responsible for. When you get to a SaaS service, you're responsible. The amount of things you're not responsible for is very limited. So it's like now you're just responsible for like the actual application logic. What are you utilizing that? Your configurations for that service, and thinking about like, its access configurations. And when I do those sort of threat models, then I'm like, okay, I love C4. C4 is a great like way to like C4 modeling is a great way to start to like abstract that into layers to say like, hey, this is the users, this is the systems, and then dive into the actual like components of that system and say like, okay, this is the thing I want to focus. So the game system would have been like the layer 2 of my threat. I start focusing in on just that portion of it. Who can utilize it? What is it integrated? What is the logic all around? And internally, because I mean, yes, a user can have access to it, but they may not, should not have certain types of access.
Do you have a tool you use for that, or
Actually,
a very beautiful Excel sheet?
No, for me, I love using like mural boards. I love using like the actual, just like a drawing tool. I don't really like when it comes to a threat model. I first start with like a basic sort of tool. Basic sort of like drawing tool to start to layer that out. But when I'm getting to like when I'm working with developers, then I try to use like Mermaid or something like that. So actually like make the threat model in code and actually incorporate that in the repo itself. Because then at that point, and that's where like Threat Dragon actually is perfect for that, because like it's a JSON model. So you could straight up like instead of doing like Mermaid and doing things in Markdown, you could use a tool like this and just the moment you finish it, you just commit it to that repo. That find really
Because you can download it as JSON. etc. Well, I hope y'all create more secure software and threat model and have these conversations with your team. Play around with it. I had a lot of fun playing around with this. So
Sorry, but screens. I don't think it's gonna come back up and IT's for the day, so.
I'm okay with ending here because that's all I had for y'all. I was thinking it would be a little bit longer, but that's okay. It sounds like a lot of y'all kind of understand the basics, and I've done a lot of these talks where I was really wanting the PowerPoint slide, which it was to be like 15 minutes, just a refresher, and then we dive into it and have some conversation. So let's look at Zoom. Anybody on Zoom? Pending thoughts?
Are there some things that you would not recommend Threat Dragon for? Thanks for
Well, yeah, that's like in the beginning of my slide, I was saying like there's other threat modeling concepts that depending on someone's job, they think about it differently. So this architecture was saying like network triaging and building out the story within the network is how they threat model, and based off of OWASP doing application security. Threat Dragon was very specific to application security. But that's my main thought.
I had a question.
No, I agree. I think it's just your domain. What you the threat model and for a network is radically different than what you threat model for software. And of course, that's much different than like what you threat model physically. Because I know like one of the companies that I worked at, media entertainment, like I'm threat modeling the actual like broadcasts and broadcast systems. So of course, that's definitely, I think about the physical threats of that. Because, you know, compromise those systems. And that's in thinking about that, like physical, that's a different set of tools you have to think about. You want to visually see like where things are laid out and such. And you know, same thing about buying a data center and things like that. So
Questions?
I have a question.
You have a question for me?
You spoke about one that was, talked about one that was like privacy oriented. I'd actually never heard of that framework. And even though the screen isn't here, can you speak on that a little bit more and maybe some of the hypotheticals of how you would model around that?
I paid to take a class in privacy engineering, so I should talk about it. But I don't have it memorized because I passed my exam and, you know, like, Linden, it's a privacy engineering framework. It's, LINDDUN. I need to pull up exactly what it stands for. Linking. So in the privacy world, it's all about protecting the identity of your users, of your employees. It's not so much about like, I mean, yeah, you don't want people to break in and infiltrate, but it's also about like, if I did infiltrate your database of users and you're collecting names and birthdays, those are two key pieces of information I can use to then do OSINT and find out who this real person is. So the linking part is like, can I link all the data together and find out who the person is? Because you're breaching privacy. And, you know, in privacy engineering, the idea is that privacy is our innate right. And people can sign up for it or not. So if you're getting, something I did as a side project, just like people getting lots of spam, you can, it's your right to contact those companies and they have to delete your information. Georgia is probably the least those rules. California is building up, but California started this whole trend that's happening. I can't name off the top of my head, but I'm like, sure, there's like 7 other states that are on board: Pennsylvania, New York, Colorado. So, and then of course, if you have any, even the GDPR says if you have, which is in Europe, if you have one person from there, you have to protect their data. So for me, as a multinational company, my philosophy is like, just do it anyways, because you don't want to get in trouble. And they are checking because, oh, I looked it up, like how you get paid. Do people know how the GDPR's, how the pay structure works? So it's based off of like village, country, towns. So if they find that their citizens have been exposed, they will sue the company, and then you fund your like small little town. I think it's brilliant. Like your small little town now gets like $5 million from Facebook. So you should look at which towns have like followed this through, because they come up with some good money.
The whole ecosystem around delete
Yeah.
the accounts and everything.
But this is back to like one of the reasons Facebook got, we're totally just hearing from it, but one of the reasons Facebook got in trouble is you can ask for your information from them and they have to do it. And so no matter where you live. And so this guy had deleted some of his Facebook posts and pictures, and when he asked for his information, it was still there, even though it wasn't on the website, it was still in the database. And so he could sue for them. So it's like even deeper into, yeah.
Dawn has a question.
Yes.
Hi, Dawn, I see your hand raised.
Hey, I was wondering if your company has any AI-driven agents that do threat modeling?
Good question. One second.
They're so green.
It's still great.
Is the room muted on it? Yeah, it's like following me around.
Yeah, I see the room.
It's not muted, but I don't know if the speaker is down.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear now.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my question was, I believe you said your company does something with defensive AI.
Oh, yes. Dark
And
trace.
And how does your company use AI agents for threat modeling?
So I'm totally skipping over your question. Just Google it. No, I'm just kidding. Dark Trace is based, our origin story is a bunch of mathematicians from Cambridge University in England. Back in 2011, we're researching how can machine learning and self-learning AI work on the network layer, so layer 3, to understand what they've coined patterns of life, so normalcy on networks. The idea was that future thinking, which kind of became true this year, where signatures and rules aren't sufficient enough to prevent threat actors from infiltrating networks. And so they use 4 different types of AI, I think 4, don't hold me to that number, maybe 3, definitely 3, to create this. So the first one is like your packet inspections, where they're just looking at normal conversations between devices based off of protocol, etc. The second one is then like clustering. Okay, all these subnets have these sorts of communications, and then you can also expand that to email and identity and OT and etc. And then from there, we take in natural language processing to turn it into human language. So it's a nice summary of what is happening. Yeah, it's pretty fast. I can give you the demo at another time, and part of my job is to give free trials. So if you want to implement it into your, to your network, I can do that. Did that help, John? I'm looking over there.
It did. Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. You can find me on LinkedIn. My name is the only Ayliffe, but should we go back to Lyndon? Were you guys curious more about the privacy engineering?
Yes.
Okay. So it says linkability, identifying non-repudiation. Oh, I can't say that word.
Non-repudiation.
Non-repudiation, thank you. Which is complicated in my head because repudiation means like you can't deny something, so you can't deny it because you're not. Can you explain that?
So yeah, non-repudiation is kind of like I did this and you can't deny that I was the one who did it.
But when it's a non-repudiation.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay. So detecting data disclosure, unawareness, and non-compliance. So that's what that stands for. So unawareness is the U. So
Users not aware about how their data is collected and processed.
exactly, yeah. So you have to inform, and I guess clicking yes without reading the terms isn't accepted anymore. I went through that today actually. I was downloading a driver and it was like, I just clicked accept and then it did a pop up and I was like, but you didn't read it. You know, and I was like, you're right, I didn't read it. And okay, I think I'm done. What do you guys think? Okay, thank you.